We want to say shout out to our sponsors, Watchman Cigars, Operation Decisive Victory, Webmerized, and Red Hill Brewing. Without you guys, this episode would not be possible. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's our take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, while you, the listener, are invited to come up on the front porch, grab a beverage, and set a spell. We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. But before we begin, let me introduce you to our starting lineup. Running the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live and manning the chat, it is our Magic Man.
Hey, everybody. I don't know how well I'll be doing on chat tonight because
producer Brian is on vacation, which well-deserved, sir. Well-deserved.
Yes.
Side note for producer Brian is he went to the mountains and he said, I'm going to haul all of my gear up there so I could be on the show. I was like, absolutely not. You need to go spend time with your family and enjoy the time off. He's so dedicated that he was going to haul all of his stuff up there. And I'm like, no, it's all right. So producer Brian will be back next week. And so we will manage to run the ship somehow without him. And of course, I be your illustrious host, Biggin. And how about you?
Since we don't have sound effects.
Thank you. Yeah. So Ryan, where can people find us on the interwebs?
The interwebs and the socials, we can be found on Facebook as Southern Fried Philosophy, on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch as SFP Radio.
Ooh.
You can email us at sfpradio@gmail.com. You can also support us and help us out with these expensive sandwiches and all kinds of good stuff that we do to bring this show to you every week by going to us, visiting us on patreon.com/SFP Radio. And then, of
that
course,
would be great.
We would really love it if you all would visit us on your podcast listening software of choice, such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcast, anything, pretty much any place that plays a podcast, you'll find us there. So
absolutely
love to have you. And then, of course, for YouTube, please make sure that you subscribe. So when we get up to 100 people that are subscribed to us, we can actually have SFP. You can find us at youtube.com/SFP radio instead of, as you would say, gobbledygook.
The gobbledygook. Yep. So I know for a fact that more than 100 people listen to the show right now. So please just pause it, go to YouTube, hit subscribe. You don't have to do anything else. You know, a little notification will pop up. You can even turn that off. Just subscribe. It doesn't do anything, I promise. So that would be great. And then we can just say, go to youtube.com/SFP. We get like a little certificate. That would be great. So if you could do that, that would be fantastic. Also, if you listen to us on podcast, please rate, review, give us a like, do all that stuff. That would be great. That helps boost our little algorithms, as Brandon used to say, to help us in the podcast charts. That would be great. So, just do a little bit of homework. We give you right now 169 shows for free. This has cost us millions of dollars. That's not true. More like thousands. But all we ask you to do is just go out there and hit a like and a subscribe. That's not hard. Go to YouTube, tickle it, lick it, punch it in the face, whatever you want to do, whatever you freaks want to do, just, go do that and we would appreciate it. All right. My rant is over. If you have any YouTube videos, if you have any podcasts that you need edited, if you have any videos that you need edited, hit up producer Brian. He's on vacation this week, so don't do it now. But then email him at headlines@sfpradio.com. Also, if you would like to be a show sponsor, shoot us an email at sfpradio.com. Also, I don't know why it took us so long. Magic Man, please help me understand why I didn't think about this earlier. Instead of going to www.southernfriedphilosophy.com, why didn't we just go sfpradio.com?
I don't.
Yo,
I don't know. I think that
yo.
decision was made before my time here. But hey, do we ought to check and see if that domain is even available, and we can.
Well, it is. It is, because we are now also, just a heads up, we are now federally trademarked.
Woo-hoo!
So you can't steal it. Don't even try coming for it now.
That's
so we
right.
want to thank Paula Yost at the Country Law Shack out there in Mount Pleasant. Thank you for doing that. Huge props for doing that. It was a battle. It was a battle royale between the federal government and a lawyer, and they were duking it out almost like KFC and or Chick-fil-A and Zaxby's tonight. It was a head-to-head battle, and we came out victorious. So
yes,
take that, federal government.
That's right.
Booyah.
We've got our
so
trademark.
now we're federally, so now we say TM. So now we got to redo the logo with the TM, all that fun schnaz. But I forgot completely where I was going with that. SFPradio.com is also a redirect, so it'll go to now southernfriedphilosophy.com. So much easier to say sfpradio.com for our website.
Awesome.
Wow, that was a mouthful. We want to say shout out to our listeners from Manitoba, Canada. I don't think I did the accent right, but
they're listening to us, eh?
Hey, poser. That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
That's all I got.
We still need listeners from Alaska. We did not make a phone call to Sarah Palin's group this week. We're still on hold for them. So hopefully next week we'll hear something, and then we can call Alaska, and that will be the 50th state. So we have had listeners from every state since we started, and I'm going to be excited about that. Then we're going to move up to America's Top Hat and go to Canada. So we probably need to work on our A's. Right?
A, that's right.
Some
boots.
Things about Canada.
Well, we got Manitoba, so there's one there.
There's one. I don't even know how many provinces there are, like 7.
Something. Yeah.
I'm making that number up. Do you know how many there
are? No. Not without looking it up.
Well, that's our crack team of internet researchers there.
That's right.
Also, Mom and Pops was our Vermont listeners, and we ordered some of the Mom and Pops maple syrup. Already got it back. Like, I ordered it on Monday. I got it like on Wednesday. So if you've been following us on Instagrams or the Facebooks, you'll see those pictures. Might have already dabbled in some of the bourbon cream, or the maple cream. So it's good stuff, y'all. Good stuff. We actually might have a possible connect. They're supposed to come down to North Carolina and do a show.
All right.
So we may be doing a show at a maple syrup convention.
That would be cool. That would be cool,
right?
I mean, those kinds of things, there's good stuff can happen. Maple syrup.
Absolutely. It's radio gold, my friend.
Radio gold. I feel like Paul Schaefer right now. You're David Letterman.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That, I could see that, Al. So I'm going to ask you guys, like I ask you every week, well, just you at this point, how you be doing?
I be doing pretty good. Had some nice weather this week. Looks like we're getting ready to get a little rain. Here I go with Magic Man's weather forecast.
Per Tanya, it's Magic Mike.
Magic Mike. I saw that. That was awesome.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Magic Mike.
Magic Mike.
Yeah. Bounce chicken. Wow.
Oh my.
Ooh. Family show.
Family show. Keep it G.
That's right. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna get a little rain here, which will be good because I don't know about your house, which you're about 15 minutes from me, but there's a nice film of pollen everywhere. The car is now a nice shade of greenish yellow.
Is it worse than it normally is this year? Because it just feels Like it's everywhere,
I've
more
seen
than
it.
normal.
I've seen it worse. What's amazing, and watch I say this, and I'll have problems tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
or
Here
next
it
week.
comes.
But normally I have
Uh-huh.
really bad allergy issues, and this year hasn't been too bad. Like,
Mm,
remember this time last year, I was kind of, I know that nasty noise and stuff.
sure. Yeah.
Not doing it. I'm
Mm,
I'm good here. So who knows?
maybe it's a adverse or a is that right? Adverse reaction to corona.
Could be.
Maybe
Could be.
that's it. Knocked out your allergies.
That's right.
Speaking of, like, I'm supposed to have the J&J shot tomorrow. How about
Oh
that?
yeah. Good.
Yeah, down to the old Bank of America. So we'll see how horrible this goes. Not not looking forward to that.
Well, I actually was finally able to make an appointment, but it's not till middle of May for the first
What?
shot. Yeah, for the
No,
first shot.
no. Go to Atrium. Atrium Health.
Mm-hmm.
You can get one. They're doing a big event on Sunday and Friday. They got tons of appointments, so you can go get one now.
Okay. Yeah, I had another place recommended to me
Oh,
by
okay.
coworkers, so
Okay.
I'll check all those out.
Mm.
But if it's May, it's May. No big deal.
Oh, there you go.
You know,
It's May. It's May.
it's
Yeah.
May. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All the people on Monday are going, oh, why couldn't I listen to this live? See, that's what you get. You need to start listening live to the show.
Come on
and you
YouTube.
yourself would have had a COVID vaccine.
That's right. Come on YouTube.
Right.
Hit subscribe,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll know all about the COVID
Right.
stuff.
And then all the faith over fear people are like, oh, not a COVID vaccine podcast. I don't want to hear about your stupid vaccine. And somebody made a good point, and I'll bring this up, is if these faith over fear people are so confident that God is going to heal them from COVID or protect them from COVID, then why are these same people feel like they have to carry guns everywhere to protect themselves? Why can't God protect you from that either?
All kinds.
Yikes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yikes.
I
Double
will.
standard.
I will admit I'm a Second Amendment proponent, but I do think that some
Right.
people take it a little bit far, and
Mhm.
such. So who knows?
Absolutely. I'm pro Second Amendment. So let me be very clear about that. My whole point is you think God's going to protect you from a virus, but you don't believe God's going to protect you from some guy with a gun. I mean, just be consistent. You know. Anyway, which, I do. Well, I am a big 2A person, but I also think let's be smart. And if there's a vaccine, let's get the vaccine.
That's right.
I don't know why that's so difficult, but anyway. Also,
and I'm sure that if it hurts, and I'm sorry to interrupt, if it's going to hurt anybody, I think we probably would have heard about it by now.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
Millions of doses have been given, so I can understand at the very beginning there being some concern, but by this point, here we are, what, 3 months, 3 or 4 months in that they've been given it. My opinion is, if anything was going to happen, we would have heard about it by now. Especially with
and let's be.
Go ahead, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, especially with the different medicine, the different vaccines that they got with 3 vaccines out there now, potentially 4. So, we plenty of guinea pigs have undergone the needle.
Yeah. And anyway, at the end of the day, wouldn't you rather be a zombie than I Am Legend, like that guy? Like, you're out in New York all by yourself. That's not fun. Like, it'd be fun for a little bit, but just hang out with your homie zombies. So.
Yeah. Even if you're an introvert, it's. I think.
Right.
I heard that even introverts at this point are saying, "Okay, this is enough of the isolation.
Enough's enough."
Yeah.
The other thing that I did this week, this is the second time I've done it, but this past weekend, I went to our friend Jim Purvis, who was the first episode on season 3. The bearded home cook, and he had a recipe for French toast. And so I got the gumption. I'm going to go ahead and make this French toast. And can I tell you, it is the most divine thing I've ever put in my mouth. You start with the brioche bun, just make regular French toast, right? No big deal. Mm-hmm. But then, put on cinnamon on one side. When you flip it, put the cinnamon on again. And then on the side, you're making banana Fosters. So bananas, brown sugar, butter, 3 things, easy peasy.
Okay.
So you have that on the side, and then you got your brioche, French toast, which is all by itself is awesome. But then here's the trick: you put a big amount of sugar all over the top of that French toast. Then you put pieces of butter on top of that, and then I slid it in the broiler, and it makes its own like syrup. And then you add more of
Okay.
the banana Foster on top of it.
Okay.
Oh, it was divine.
It was
Beautiful.
heaven.
So with some bacon on the side, that was a good day, my friend.
Now the sugar you used, was it regular sugar or was it like powdered sugar?
Yeah. No, just regular white granulated sugar.
Okay.
And you put that on top, and when the butter melts, and it like a creme brulee is the top of that French toast. So it's like a nice little crunch to it, but it's also caramelized, and it was delicious.
That sounds awesome. That sounds really
absolutely
good. Yeah.
So that's what I did this weekend. Made that. Dad came over, but now this week maybe we'll just do pancakes and we'll use our mom and pop's world's best Vermont syrup. So
there you go. The real stuff, not the
real stuff, not the fake stuff.
Yeah, not the high fructose corn syrup stuff you get at the store. Right. Nice.
Yeah. So, all right, here's our Southern word of the week.
All right, lay it on me.
It's hissy. Hissy.
Hissy.
Have you've heard of hissy before?
I have, yeah. Hissy fit.
Okay. Hissy fit, exactly.
Hissy fit.
So people will say like, quit throwing a hissy just because the slang word doesn't always end with fit. In the South, it doesn't make any less of a tantrum. Example, he's getting hissy because we didn't stop for food. I call that heresy because anytime I'm just hungry,
or getting
I
hangry,
just go stop for food. But I would probably throw a hissy fit. Hangry is a good one too.
Hey,
but
I can understand throwing a
small
hissy.
batch at this point.
Yeah, I can understand throwing a hissy when
you're
hangry.
Right?
Yes, I understand that completely.
Absolutely. Small batch now has learned the key to a good hissy fit is just falling down on the floor and crying. So we've entered that stage of I don't want to go to school today, so I'm just going to throw myself on the floor and have a hissy, and so you don't get up. So fun times.
Yes, good times.
Good times. Things that happened this week. Did you watch the March Madness tournament?
I have not watched really much TV this week. I've been busy working.
Sure, because that's really all you do, right?
That's all I do right now. Yes, but no, I haven't. But tell me about it. What you got?
To be honest, this is the first March Madness that I have never watched. I didn't watch.
Wow. Okay.
Hardly any games. Kentucky was out. Duke was out. UNC is out. I didn't really feel like I wanted to watch it. So, but the big headline at this point was Gonzaga was undefeated all the way to the very end. And, being a Kentucky fan, we were there as well in 2015. We went to Indianapolis. We thought that we had the chance. Myself, my dad, and my wife actually went to the game to Indianapolis. And then we were 38-1. We thought that we were going to get there. And that was the most depressing weekend of my life. So I remember we lost, and I was in shock. The next thing I remember after the buzzer went off is just being outside, and some guy asked me to buy my tickets for tomorrow's night's game. I almost punched him in his face. I was just so mad and so depressed because I thought this was the year we're going to go undefeated and we're going to win the championship. Things are going to be perfect. But alas, we missed it. So I feel for you, Gonzaga, but I'm glad that you didn't make it. I'd much rather see Baylor win just to protect the undefeated season. Are you a basketball fan at all? I'm clearly making you bored at this point.
No, sorry.
As he starts to yawn.
No.
Everybody take a nap.
Yeah, time to take a nap. No, not
really.
Not really.
That's fine.
Yeah, I usually watch more football, but I'm not like someone that quotes stats and stuff like that. I just like watching it, and Panthers fan, second. 49ers would be my second place.
Okay.
As my favorite team. So yeah,
Now
but
that's Brian's team too, right? The 49ers.
it is. It is.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you have that in common.
we got that going for us.
I feel like the bromance are
The
ruined already.
bromance. There we go.
Yeah, I'm a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, which I don't know why. I mean, I lived there, so I had to pull for the team. And even when I moved away, I was like, well, I'm still going to pull for these guys that never win anything. So
Hey, their
let's go for that.
franchise year was the same year that Carolina Panthers, both in, was it
Yeah,
1995 or something like that?
yeah, it was the year before I graduated high school. Yeah, and look how great Panthers are versus the Jaguars. We keep screwing it up. We're like the bad news bears of football. So anyway, I'm glad Gonzaga did not win that March Madness. All right. So have you been watching anything on Netflix lately that you really enjoyed lately? I know you say you haven't watched TV, but what do you guys, when you do watch TV, what are some of the things that you're into now?
Well, actually, my wife and I have been watching Mad Men, which
Oh,
I know
okay.
is what they started. That started around 2007 and
Mhm.
ended in 2014. So we're a little bit late to that game, but
Oh, quite all
better
right.
late than never. But
Sure.
yeah, just it's interesting. Of course, I know it's a TV show, but
Right.
when I think back to that period of time, is it me or does it seem like people like dressed up more than we do now?
Oh, absolutely.
Like I know we dress for comfort. I mean, I'm in jeans and a short. I mean, sorry, in a t-shirt and a short right now, pair of
Right.
shorts right now. But you see these guys and in these nice suits, and
Mhm.
the women dressed up, and it seemed like everybody was took care of how they looked. I
They
guess.
look decent. Yeah.
Yeah, they took care of themselves, and now we kind of
Absolutely.
are slobs. But I mean, I'm not trying to. It's just the way it is. But anyways,
No, I understand. Like when people would go on a plane, like they got dressed up to the
yeah,
nines to get on a plane, and now we're like wearing sweatpants and our fat's hanging out. So, you know, yeah.
I'm guilty of that.
Been there, done that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I
Even on
know.
that trip to India, man, that was rough. I was right by the time
Oh,
I got to Germany.
oh boy.
Yeah. So, well, I started watching a Netflix show called Formula One.
Okay.
This is not kid appropriate, so do not watch this with the kiddies, the kids there. But it's a really good show. My wife was like, "Well, what's it like?" And it's the story of Formula One. They take the season, and they kind of do, you know, they follow the different teams. You see the races and that kind of stuff, and you see some of the countryside and whatnot. And it's just all the drama that's on the different racing teams. And I was like, to liken it to anything that you watch, it's very similar to like the Real Housewives,
Okay.
in the fact that there's so much drama,
Mm-hmm.
that people are kind of backstabbing each other in some points, that they act like they're friendly, but they're not. Like the teammate in Formula One, like there's two drivers per team, and they're teammates, but they still want to kill each other at the end of the day, which is again very much like the Real Housewives. There's a lot of cursing, so there's that. There's people getting angry a lot. There's
Imagine
that.
that. Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, it's a lot of basically the same thing. Just the backdrop is Formula One. So there's that. So, and I feel more manly watching Formula One at the end of the day than the Real Housewives.
Would you say you're
So
now a Formula One race fan?
to be honest with you, I am. It
Okay.
has changed my perspective. I hate. Well, let me back up. I'm just not a NASCAR fan. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't been that. But like the speed of which they're going around in the city
Mm-hmm.
for some of these. Some of them are tracks, but I get. But they move like it's not just the same oval. They're turning and they've got this and that to go with. So I really like that piece. And so yeah, I'm actually going to watch my first race ever. So I'm excited to watch that coming up April 18th, 9 o'clock on ESPN. But yeah, I'm going to actually watch an episode
Well, hey,
or a
th-
race.
there's a streaming channel you can get if you have like Roku or Amazon Fire TV or any of those
Okay.
streaming applications, and even probably on some smart TVs, called Motor Trend. Motor Trend, I think they used to be called Motor Trend on Demand, but it's basically it's Motor Trend, and they have the shows I watch are actual shows, so they have, and of course everything is car and motorcycle, basically anything that has wheels and a motor. And they may even have boats too. I can't remember, but anyways, they've got just all kinds of stuff. So I watch, they have actual shows on there, like Roadkill and Engine Masters and stuff like that. But they also have a lot of races. They show a lot of races on there and stuff. So that might be something cool to check out. Just if you want to see more and binge watch when it's a rainy day and sit back with a bourbon and binge watch something on Motor Trend.
Yeah, I'm not like a car guy, but like for some reason I'm really drawn to the Formula One stuff. So part of it is like the cool car because it just is different than a NASCAR or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, I got hooked into it. I watched all 3 seasons in less than a week, and so I was just binging that. But it was a really cool experience. So I'm looking forward to watching the race coming up. So
what would you say is better, the Formula One on there or Tiger King that we had a year ago?
How about this? They're both like when the wrecks happen, you can't look away.
Exactly.
So they're similar in that aspect.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
You can't look away from it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I like Tiger King just because of the sheer stupidity. And every time he thought it certainly can't get any worse, it does, for Tiger King. I mean, at the end of the day, Formula One's making money and somebody wins a race. But Tiger King,
he's in jail.
Somebody's losing an arm.
Yeah. Or going to jail.
Or going to jail. Absolutely. So, I thought those were some topics I wanted to bring up. But now, alas, I think we should go to the Chicken Madness round 5, presented by Red Hill Brewing. Let's go ahead and get our drinks available.
Okay.
In my handy dandy llama alpaca cooler there. Thank you. Small batch. So we are drinking tonight. I am drinking. I don't know if you're drinking the same thing. Rye, hops, and you. Yep. Okay. There we go. We're drinking the same thing. Rye, hops, and you. This is a special one again by Red Hill Brewing Company. This is a ode to the. I keep wanting to say the Allman Brothers, but that's not right. It's the ones here in Kannapolis. Who is it? Not Kannapolis, but Mount Pleasant. Who is it? The what? The Avett Brothers.
Avett Brothers. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an ode to the Avett Brothers from Mount Pleasant, North Carolina, also where Paulie Yost Country Law Shack is from. So let's pop this open.
That's right. And I can tell you right now, I'm smelling it. I like the way it smells already.
Okay. All right. Tell me about it. You're more of a rye guy, right? An IPA guy.
I'm an IPA guy. Yes.
Okay. So this is a rye IPA.
Rye IPA. Yep. So let's see what this tastes like.
There's no description on this one. Ooh.
See, I like it because it's similar to an IPA.
What makes it different than a regular IPA? Just the rye?
Yeah. It's not as hoppy.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I just realized I'm actually talking with some intelligence when we're doing the bourbon tasting. I'm like, yeah, it tastes like alcohol.
I taste bubblegum. Is that it? Yep,
yeah.
That's it. This is I feel like I could drink this, especially after mowing the yard, hot day, sitting in the porch.
Has to be cold though.
It has to be cold. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. That's good. I like that. Thanks, Chris.
I do. Yeah. Good job,
and our
Chris.
friends at Red Hill Brewing Company.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Appreciate that. So now for the moment you've been waiting for. If you're just tuning in, we have been doing a chicken. Again, I haven't watched the NCAA March Madness. That's over with. It's done. But there is still drama left in our March Madness with the Chicken Madness bracket, again, presented by Red Hill Brewing. We have gone through 5 rounds. We have had a bracket that included Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Zaxby's, KFC, McDonald's, Arby's, Wendy's, and Bojangles. Now we are at the final 4, which includes Chick-fil-A versus Zaxby's tonight. We did this on a point system. 5 points for presentation, 5 points for bread, 5 points for sauce, 5 points for toppings, and a 10 for the main event, which is the chicken, for a total of 30 points each. 3 of us voting, that gives us a total out of 90. So this one I thought was a very difficult one to do. Now,
Agreed.
Again, it's not a done deal. Most people think at the top of the list Chick-fil-A. But let's go through our point system and see how things work. So why don't I do the Zaxby's and you do the Chick-fil-A? Are you comfortable with that?
Yep. Let it rip.
All right. So let it rip, Potato Chip, cooking with Crisco.
That's right.
Zaxby's, the presentation, I gave it a 4.5. Brian gave it a 4. Ryan gave it a 4. For me, the presentation was good. I thought, it looked like a good chicken sandwich.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. The bread, again, out of 5, I gave it a 5. Brian gave it a 5, and Ryan gave it a 5. So we must have thought that bread was amazing.
Yeah, because it had that split bun, and it was good. Good stuff.
Let me tell you what I did, because again, I want to be fair. I want to be consistent, but I also want, I think that our listeners need to know the truth. And if there's nothing else, I'm a hard hitting journalist. So what I did was I took this very seriously. I got a piece of bread from the Chick-fil-A and a piece of bread from the Zaxby's, and I put them on 2 different sides of my mouth to see which one I thought tasted better. So, I mean, that's some struggle right there.
That's dedication.
That's what I do.
Dedication
All
to the
for
craft.
you. All for you. That's right. Zaxby's, out of 5, their sauce was a 3 down the board. The toppings, I gave it a 3 for 3 pickles. Brian gave it a 4, and Magic Mike gave it a 3 for the toppings. All right, so I'm going to stop there, and then you go ahead and do the presentation up to the chicken, and then we'll kind of announce then the chicken piece of it.
Okay, fair enough. So for Chick-fil-A, for presentation, all 3 of us gave it a 4. So this was actually a break from your 0.5 rating there. That's interesting.
Well, I'm coming up on the rear on this one.
All right, for the bread, you gave it a 4.5, and then producer Brian and myself gave it a 4. It just was like a regular bun, I guess. But hey, it's Chick-fil-A, so it's
right. It was still buttery. It had the crispy. And the other thing I was going to point out on the Zaxby's bun, where there wasn't sauce, because it was there's sauce on top and below.
I noticed that, yeah.
But it was still it was a little bit more crispy around the edges, where the sauce wasn't there, than the bread at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
So sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. All 3 of us gave a 0 for the sauce because
0.
There was none.
Right.
But
now this is a deviation of what you did before.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I told you I reassessed my voting and
right.
wanted to make it fair. So,
which is we need to do that.
Yep. So for toppings, Big On, you gave it a 2.
Yep.
Producer Brian gave it a 3, and then I gave it a 2, 1 for each pickle. And I'm sorry, everybody, I did not save the pickles, and I will not be putting them on display tonight.
Your pickle nibbles.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and again, Chick-fil-A just has pickles, while Zaxby's has sauce and pickles. So it's that's the difference on that.
Did I see a tomato
All
on
right,
there too,
so
if I remember correctly, for Zaxby's?
I did not have a tomato on mine.
Okay, maybe I'm thinking of another
Hmm,
sandwich. They all start running together after a
maybe.
while.
Listen, can we be honest with each other? Are you getting sick of chicken sandwiches at this point?
Yeah, yeah. It's I
Starting
think
to get old.
yeah, it is. But this has been fun. I have enjoyed it.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so let's go to the main event here. We for go ahead and do Chick-fil-A, and then I'll do Zaxby's.
Okay, so for the chicken for Chick-fil-A, straight 9s out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
So all of us like the chicken for Chick-fil-A, and
Yep.
hey, Lord's chicken, can't beat it.
Yep. I almost teeter-tottered on this chicken because that crispy, crunchy, um, breading that they have is sweet, but it's like stands up, it's firm, like it crunches really good. And then it's just so super moist with the brine and whatnot that they use. It was tough, but I had to give it a 9 on that one. And all of us did as well. So Zaxby's, I gave it an 8, which I thought was a little bit more dried out than the Chick-fil-A was.
Agreed.
So that's why there's a slight deduction there. You agree as well?
Yep.
And you also gave it an 8.
Yep.
And then here's the shocking one. Producer Brian gave it a 6.
Oh.
Yeah. I wish he was here to explain himself on this. But we'll take his point system and maybe he can explain next week.
Yeah.
However, if we look at the totals, Zaxby's comes in with a point total of 68.5. Okay. Chick-fil-A comes in with a point total of, Magic Man?
58.5. We have an upset here.
This is Gonzaga versus Baylor right here.
Yeah.
Gonzaga being Chick-fil-A. I mean, this is just how March Madness played out. Gonzaga was the favorite. This is a 1 seed versus a 4. Baylor was a 2 seed. But it wasn't even close at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it was a rout. 10 points. I think the March Madness was about 12 points. So Zaxby's beats Chick-fil-A, the first major upset that we have in the Chicken Madness, brought to you by Red Hill Brewing. So thoughts, Magic Man, does this surprise you going into this this bracket? Did you think by any means that Chick-fil-A was going to get knocked out?
No, I thought Chick-fil-A was going to cinch it down. But then after I gave my own scores, and for me, Zaxby's was up by, let's me try to do math here, 4 points.
Yeah.
Because it was a total of 19 for Chick-fil-A and a total of 23 for Zaxby's. So when I saw that, I was like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
So I was looking forward to seeing what your scores and what producer Brian's scores were going to be, just to see if and if y'all would pull them out or if they just continue their slide. And hey,
yeah. And I was wrestling with this at 3 a.m. last night. Is should I give the toppings to Chick-fil-A a 3? That would, in essence, then, if you took the sauce away from Zaxby's, then it would be even with Chick-fil-A. I did not, but I feel like that if you took the sauce away from Zaxby's, it would decrease more than 9 points, and it would be a worse chicken sandwich. But that sauce then, to me, saves the whole sandwich.
Yeah, they did a good job with that. And so, hey, upset, but Zaxby moves on to the next round.
It does. Yep. Next week, we have Bojangles versus KFC. And then the winner of that will then take on Zaxby's for the final game, the final countdown will be that. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If again you have enjoyed it and you want to, help us out with these sandwiches, because again, they're $4 or $5 sandwiches. That would be great. We would appreciate it. But again, this is free, no cost to you, but we would appreciate it. Go to patreon.com/SFP radio. You can do a one-time donation. You can give us $1. You can give us a penny. We'll take it.
And then if you,
so again, next week,
if you sign up for recurring on Patreon, get you some swag.
We'll get you some swag. In fact, we've got to figure out, Magic Man, what we're going to do with new shirts, because we've got to get some new shirts made, going back to some of the archives and some of our favorite quotes. I was trying to think back. I think Marty McFly, who was with us for a little bit, has a great line that said, well, "That's one hell of a distraction." I think that would be a great shirt.
Popcorn was a bad dude.
Popcorn was a bad dude by old Joe Biden. Creepy Joe. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things, just like life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy. So we may need to do a contest of which ones our listeners might like the most, or maybe if I could find one of those places that just makes shirts and you don't pay for them, and they mail them to you, then we could do all of them. But cool. I got to do some research on that part.
All right.
Anyway, so okay, let's move on. What's the word I'm looking for? In respect for producer Brian, I have decided not to do any wacky news, but we will do what is strange but true. So I'm going to give you some facts. You may or may not know these, but these are facts that I thought are strange, but they're true. Have you heard the phrase "the whole shebang"?
Yes. Oh, yes.
The whole shebang. Do you know? I know you're reading the show notes, but before you read the show notes, did you know where that phrase came from?
No, I did not. Nope. And actually, I haven't even read that far through the show notes. So this is going to be.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be new to you too.
I'm learning just like our listeners are. Same time.
You're learning at the same time. The whole shebang is actually a brand of potato chips that was once sold only in jails and prison.
Wow.
But it was so popular that in 2016, due to a demand from ex-inmates, it was finally made available to the general public. So the whole shebang.
Have you seen it anywhere? I haven't seen it.
I have never seen it before. Maybe we can get an image of it.
Or see if we can order it online and sample it on.
That would be great.
While we're recording, yeah, that'd be great.
All right, let's make a note of that. Order these. Our Patreon subscribers will get one bag of the whole shebang.
There you go.
We'll add that. All right. Did you know that the majority of people will tilt their head to the right when they go in for a kiss?
Let's see. Yeah, true.
There you go. In Alabama, roll tide. It's against the law to drive while impersonating a member of the clergy.
I would love
so
to know what the story.
Pop up.
I would love to know what the story behind that one is. That is out there, but it's Alabama. So,
I do
with all due respect
know,
to our Alabama listeners.
Sure, yeah. Sweet home, baby, sweet home.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I know some youth pastor friends of mine that would be speeding quite often, and whenever they got pulled over, they said that they were youth pastors and they were going to like the hospital for one of their kids, or they were late for a funeral or what have you.
Oh my goodness!
And they would get out of the ticket until mind you, one of the officers said, "Well, let me drive you there," and he was like, "Uh-oh," and so he had to confess that he lied. I'm like, you youth pastors, you're not. Yeah. Come on.
That's right.
For centuries, this is kind of gross. So, but we'll keep it G. For centuries, doctors thought that medicine made with human material could be effective in curing all kinds of ailments from epilepsy to headaches. Their practice was called corpse medicine. Ooh, that doesn't sound appealing at all.
No, not so much.
No. All right. Did you know that the original name for the search engine Google was Backrub? It was renamed after the.
Let me back rub that for you.
Yeah, right, exactly. It was renamed after the original Googleplex, which is the number 1 followed by 100 zeros. Could you imagine if it stuck and it was? Let me back rub that for you. Could you imagine in today's culture? 1, it wouldn't work, right? But then 2, you talk about, you could just be like, no, baby, I'm just trying to Google something for you, or I'm trying to back rub something for you. Right. So back rub.
Did you ever watch that movie, Hot Tub Time Machine?
I did.
And he had a Lugal. It was the end of the movie. That guy Lou, he stayed behind in 1986, and then he's the one that discovered Google, but he called it Lugal.
He should have just kept it as a back rub.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Last but not least, in the Solomon Islands, dolphin teeth were and still are used as a form of currency. Huh. I feel like. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was just like, what would they do? I wonder what the exchange rate is.
I feel like you could, go to like a shipping, a local one, or go to like wherever they get the tuna fish from, and get a bunch of dolphin teeth, and you could be like a bazillionaire over there. Jeez. Go to the Solomon Islands and use the dolphin teeth.
Yeah.
Good gravy.
I wonder if they exchange if they have an
exchange
there,
that's a good one.
Exchange it for dollars.
All right, and then last. Right. All right. So last but not least, this is a news article that I got, and this is not part of the strange but true, but it is also strange but true. Due to the pandemic, and when everybody was not driving around and using their beloved and oh so cursed fossil fuel cars, did you know that the in parts of Europe, the U.S., and China, that temperatures actually rose as much to 0.3 to 0.37 degrees Celsius, and it got warmer?
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
We caused global warming by not driving our fossil fuel cars.
Yeah.
You say, well, how's that possible? And that's due to less soot and sulfate particles from car exhausts and burning coal, which normally cool the atmosphere temporarily by reflecting the sun's heat. There was a study done by the Geophysical Research Letters that basically said that because nobody was driving, that's what happened. So good news, folks. We're driving around a whole lot more, so now the temperature should cool off a little bit more.
Wow.
So I thought that was interesting.
I do remember seeing pictures last year. About this time, I guess it was, where they had a picture of Los Angeles, and it was like clear blue skies over Los Angeles because there was no pollution.
Right. Yeah.
And it was incredible to see these urban areas that normally have smog and all that other stuff, just completely clear skies, and what was it they were saying, that all the pollution in China almost completely disappeared when they were under lockdown, and because there was no, everybody was at home, nobody was working in the factories, and with all the pollution they make.
So really, if we wanted to none of this makes sense. The global warming thing, it's almost like coronavirus. None of it makes sense of, we've got to stop our fossil fuel cars, which I get. There needs to be less pollution. Totally okay with that. But, you got to be, again, as I said before, you got to be consistent. You can't talk about global warming and have one of those summits and everybody's flying their jet to go to the summit to talk about pollution.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Or if you're so concerned about pollution, why are you chugging down bottles of plastic water when you go on these trips? Like, why don't you take a single use thing? Politicians are just not consistent across the board, which I think we know that on both sides.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna argue about global warming, let's make the rubber hit the road, right?
Yeah.
So we can all Zoom now. So why don't we just use that instead? Anyway, I just thought that was all interesting.
Yeah.
We made global warming by not driving our cars around.
Wow.
There's that. Cool. All right. Anything else you want to add for the show, sir?
No, quick one this week, but it was a good one.
Absolutely. Next week, we have Bojangles versus KFC. Next week, we have the Whiskey Priest. You may say, this has become a bourbon podcast or a whiskey podcast? And I'd say to you, ma'am or sir, you're probably correct. But we're gonna keep talking about it. Why? Because we love it. That's part of our gravy. So anyway, it'll be an interesting story about faith, about whiskey, and about just relationships and communication. So we will be back again next week. Southern Fried Philosophy, the podcast. As always, keep looking up. You're listening to the SFP Radio Network.